Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 142. Amazing. We've gotten this far, man.
I know.
Let's keep it
Every
rolling.
Every single day, man. It keeps going up, and we're still here with you. It's awesome. Is this thing working?
We're going to answer that question again today. Is this thing working?
And the thing about it is every single day we ask the question, but nothing gets solved, it doesn't seem like. But we do the best that we can to bring you the information so you can become informed and be engaged. And while we're at it, we all here in Texas need to be real careful today because there's a tropical storm out there, Alberto.
Yeah.
Tropical storm.
Has it already hit landfall, or is it supposed to hit today?
It's bringing heavy rainfall and coastal flooding and gusty winds to the coast of Texas and northeastern Mexico through Thursday. So the storm's impacts are significant, extending well beyond its center, with the heaviest rain and highest flooding threat over coastal and southern Texas. Despite the storm's large size, it remains disorganized, and its strongest winds are located far north of its center. Coastal flooding and impacts are already being felt in Texas, with warnings and watches issued for the region. So everybody just be careful today and tomorrow.
Yeah, especially on the coastal regions in the Houston area, around in there, Galveston,
yes,
Corpus Christi, all that, right through there especially. Y'all just be careful today and turn around, don't drown, man.
That's exactly right. And we're in East Texas, so we're not as far south. We'll just get the outer bands, pretty much, is what we're seeing now. It's just come and go. It's just very light rain so far.
So far, yeah.
So we've been very blessed here.
But we've got predictions of rain here, like you say, all the way through Thursday through tomorrow night. So experience the ultimate shipping solution with Easy Ship. Are you tired of navigating complex logistics and wasting valuable time? Say goodbye to the stress of shipping and hello to simplicity with Easy Ship. Our intuitive platform allows you to compare rates from leading carriers, schedule pickups with ease, and track your shipments in real time, all in one place. Whether you're a small business owner looking to optimize your shipping process or an individual sending a gift to a loved one, Easy Ship has you covered. Our user-friendly interface puts the power of efficient shipping at your fingertips, saving you time and money. Don't let shipping challenges hold you back. Try Easy Ship today and discover a new level of convenience and reliability. Visit EasyShip.com now to get started.
Click the link below. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. We do appreciate that. Before we start the show today, we want to state these are our opinions and our assertions, just mine and James. If you agree with us, tell your friends and share the show.
And if you don't agree with us, tell your friends and share the show. Also, stomp that like button and please follow or subscribe wherever you see the name. Is This Thing Working? And our podcast that we do each and every day is available for download on all platforms like Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
Also, download that Rumble app and please follow the show, and you will receive instant notifications when we go live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Here we go. Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it. Here we go. Trump watch.
Trump was in Racine. Is that how you say it?
Racine,
Wisconsin yesterday for another one of his massive rallies that the mainstream media doesn't want you to talk about. Here's a little clip from yesterday. Listen.
Joe Biden is humiliating our country on the world stage. He's actually humiliating us. You saw what happened this weekend. It's turning the United States into a total joke all over the world. First, he wandered off the G7 in Europe, the stage. He looked like he didn't know where the hell he was, but he didn't know where he was. He's blaming it now on AI. He's saying he doesn't know what AI is, but that's okay. Now they're saying the media is manipulating. Oh, he's saying the media is manipulating. Now, on that one, I have to stick up for the media, I have to tell you. He said the media is manipulating the pictures of him constantly not knowing where the hell he is. They're doing just the opposite. They're making him look better. At the G7 in Europe, and he had to be rescued by other world leaders. They had to pull him back. Then he bizarrely put his face on the Pope's forehead. What was that all about? That was weird. Vivek is here. That was weird, Vivek. I don't know. Did you see the Pope? The Pope is like, what's happening? The Pope didn't really know what was happening. He said, this is strange. Then he froze during the celebration on the White House lawn. Then Barack Hussein Obama had to grab his hand and lead him off the stage as though he were a child. I have to tell you, Obama could have handled that differently.
I knew he was going to come out with an answer to KJP saying it was a cheap fake. Everything was a cheap fake. Don't believe your lying eyes.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
We're using AI to doctor these clips and everything. You know what I mean.
And in all fairness, if you remember back when AI became really popular and it all got kicked up just a couple years back, even people like Tim Pool was talking about it. I mean, a lot of people were talking about that. Hey, get ready. Come the 2024 election season, there's going to be, and I'm surprised that there hasn't been AI fakes out there yet. I really am.
Well, I am too. And, we know for a fact what we saw.
Yes.
I mean,
it definitely wasn't AI. We talked
did
about
not
that
doctor
already.
anything. No one, not us. I mean, we didn't have any of those clips, but nobody has doctored the clips. They all look the same from everybody who did it. So I'm sorry. You know, these Biden people, would think that we're dumb. They think the American people are dumb.
And even Fox News kind of got a little bit uptight about it this morning on there, too. They were griping about it because they know as well as we do. Don't BS us. We know what we see.
Yes, we know what we see. And what I thought was cool yesterday also happened is the House members, the House of Representatives came out with a new resolution that may be able to help Steve Bannon not go to prison, but we'll see how that works out. They came out with a 5-page resolution. What it does is it rescinds a subpoena issued by the January 6th Select Committee on November 23, 2021, October 6, 2021, and February 9, 2022, and withdrawing the recommendations finding Stephen K. Bannon, Mark Meadows, Daniel Scavino, and Peter Navarro in contempt of court. So they're going to do their best to try to rescind these, so that all of these cases can just go away. We'll see how that goes. Everyone, please, I bring this up because I really want you to contact your representative and ask them to sign on to this resolution. Please, it is very important for us to move on from January 6th and to get those people that are in prison. This will help them as well because they go on to try to say that this January 6th committee is not a committee. So if it passes, a lot of people's lives will change.
Exactly.
Immediately.
As it should.
As it should. So let's call our representatives and help out. Like we say, be engaged.
Yep. Look on the internet for their phone numbers. I guarantee you every one of our senators and representatives, their phone numbers are listed there, probably on a government website.
Well, actually, I'm just going to give you a little hint.
Do it.
What you can do is download the Bill Blaster app. It has every one of your senators and representatives from your state and from the House of Representatives and from your Congress. So go to www.billblaster. I'm going to say .com, but it could be .org. But anyway, go there and download the app. It's probably in your app store too. So check that out. It will be right there at your fingertips. You could just type in Pete Sessions. Boom. Everything is right there. Okay? So do that. Well, there was a lot of primaries going on yesterday. We had a special primary in Georgia, and we had Virginia. And Bob Good, which is the incumbent representative, went against John McGuire. Now, President Trump had backed John McGuire, and then Bob Good was backed by another faction of the Republican Party, and it was contentious because Bob Good was of the Freedom Caucus.
Right.
But President Trump was not very happy that he endorsed Ron DeSantis, so he went after him, and John McGuire won in a very, very tight race. It went back and forth all evening. We watched it.
Yeah.
So that happened yesterday. So, this is going to be a very contentious election.
Yeah, it was as close there for a little bit as even like less than 1% or less than a percentage point.
Yes.
I mean, in fractions of a percentage point.
It would go up.
Close.
It would go up like 8 votes, and then the other one would get 10 votes, and then the other. I mean, it was a very, very tight race. But we congratulate John McGuire. He is now,
on his way to the general.
way to the general. So good luck on that. Because this election is going to be very important for everybody to get out and vote. I mean, really, it's tight.
Before we get started today, though, let's remember our sponsor. Today, our sponsor is Brickhouse Nutrition. And one of the great products that Brickhouse Nutrition has is Field of Greens, your daily dose of vibrant nutrition, packed with organic greens, fruits, and vegetables. Each scoop delivers essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Simply mix with water or add to your favorite smoothie for a refreshing boost of vitality. Fuel your body with the goodness it craves. Experience the power of Field of Greens and thrive every day.
I love Field of Greens. I have some myself. I use it every single day. It gives me energy. You know, after I get through drinking my coffee, of course, I have a green drink, and I love it, and I put it in my green drink. It's part of it, and they have different flavors. I have the wild berry, so check them out. Thank you to our sponsors and for you for clicking on the link below. Get you some Field of Greens. You'll feel better for it.
It's www.brickhousenutrition.com. I seen a pretty interesting tweet on X yesterday, and it's by Christopher Rufo, and this is what he said. The video that goes with it. He goes, "This is where we are now. The Biden administration sent 2 FBI agents to intimidate a nurse who told the truth about the child sex change program at the Texas Children's Hospital. The regime is mobilizing to threaten and imprison anyone who opposes transgender medicine." Listen to the video.
Hello? Hi. I'm looking for Vanessa Sivage. Okay. Yeah. Who are you? Cassie. I'll next time an FBI agent. Okay. This is Mr. McBride. Hey, I'm David McBride. Okay. Nice to meet you, sir. It's a pleasant interaction. You're not any trouble nor deceit. Okay. All right. Hi, how are you? She snuck up on you there. You want to see too? Are we interrupting dinner? I'm really sorry.
That's all right. What's going on?
Let me start at the beginning. So I'm sure you're aware of some of the things that have been going on at your work lately.
With regards to...
Yeah, so can we sit down for a minute? Let me do my song and dance.
So that's what you hear. Let's give you some context on this.
Okay, so some years ago, this is from the City Journals where I'm getting my information. Vanessa Sivage thought she had made it, having just accepted a position as an RN at Texas Children's Hospital. She had wanted to be a nurse since high school and felt a sense of joy in helping children. But her feelings toward Texas Children's didn't last. Beginning in 21, Sivage saw a dramatic rise in the number of transgender children treated at the hospital. These patients struggled with various problems: depression, anxiety, addiction, suicide, physical abuse, and discomfort with puberty. But rather than deal with these underlying psychological conditions, Sivage says doctors at the hospital would diagnose them with gender dysphoria and assign them to a regimen of gender-affirming care. This practice made Sivage recoil. In the cardiac clinic, she said, we were taking sick kids and making them better. In the transgender clinic, it was the opposite. We were harming these kids. Then the following year, she got excited. She breathed a sigh of relief. Under the pressure from the state attorney general, Ken Paxton, Texas Children's CEO Mark Wallace said that he was shutting down the gender clinic. But it wasn't true. Mere days later, it had secretly reopened for business. And business was booming. Doctors, including Roberts, Paul, and Christy Raylon, were managing dozens of pediatric sex change cases, performing surgeries, blocking puberty, implanting hormone devices, and making specialty referrals. They were motivated not only by ideology, but by hope for prestige. They were saviors of the oppressed, the vanguard of gender medicine.
It goes on to say that Sivage soon had seen enough. She says, I work very closely with this provider, Dr. Richard Roberts. I've been in the room with him when he speaks with these patients. Dr. Roberts is encouraging of their transition and will essentially do whatever he can to make sure that they're happy, at least externally happy, because I'm absolutely certain that they are not internally happy. He is very accommodating. He does whatever they want. Essentially, there is no critical analysis of the process. So what happened was she sees all of this go down, okay, and she blows the whistle on them. Because what they were doing after the law was passed that you could not perform any gender-affirming care or gender surgeries on these kids, after that was already taken care of, then what you've got is them continuing to do this, falsify the Medicare and Medicaid records, and continue to perform these surgeries. and she knew it, and she blew the whistle on them too.
She did. And, she also says that when parents objected, the doctors bulldozed them, she claims. Some families, she believed, feared that the hospital would call Child Protective Services if they dissented. This right here is very important, folks, because they don't care what the parents have to say at all. And you're right. Now they do call Child Protective Services on you, but I don't see how this happens in Texas.
Okay, and the crazy thing is that you would think that once they were found out that they had to shut the clinic down, then they get found out that they just ignored that and continued to do what they were doing and commit the fraud and all of that. You would think that at that point the FBI would turn, or the Department of Justice would turn and go after those who are breaking the law, but they didn't. And that's the craziest part. The journalist goes on to say that then, 2 months after they spoke with her for that story, Sivage called them in a panic. The FBI had sent 2 special agents, Paul Nixon and David McBride, to her home. The agents knocked on the door, asked her about some of the things that had been going on at her work lately, and then they asked to enter her home. She was terrified, and City Journal reached out to the FBI. They declined comment. These agents told Sivage that she was a person of interest in an investigation targeting the whistleblower who had exposed the child sex change program. They told her that the whistleblower had broken federal privacy laws. They threatened me, Sivage said. They promised they would make life difficult for me if I was trying to protect the leaker. Then they said I was not safe at work and claimed that if someone in my workplace had given my name to the FBI, the authorities, the FBI, the hospital, would later, as Sivage would later discover, federal prosecutors were all circling the story. Both the DOJ and the hospital leadership were ideologically committed to transgender medicine. They had been embarrassed by the investigation and exposed their actions and were looking for revenge. People, they're trying to intimidate you if you see what they're doing is against the law. They're trying to intimidate you.
So you don't whistleblow on them.
Exactly.
I mean, they don't want whistleblowers, and they go after whistleblowers, and they made it one of their mantras or something to just get you if you tell on them.
More weaponization of the government. More weaponization.
Yeah, and they say here things went quiet for a while afterwards. Sivage resumed her work as a nurse, and the FBI did not reappear. So all it was a fear tactic.
Yep.
And that's what they're going to do. So my question has been, why Texas? Why is this going on in Texas, and how can we do something about that? Because the feds coming into Texas and threatening Texans should be against the law, don't you think?
It should be.
Someone replied to Christopher Rufo's video of the nurse, and Mitch Little, who just got elected to the House of Representatives in the Texas House. He said, these are the guys, a group of whistleblowers said our attorney general couldn't investigate.
Talking about the FBI.
Talking about the FBI. Hear me out, he says. And he's talking to the Texas House Subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government against Texans. He says, I have subpoena ideas.
And Tom Glass even answered on that tweet too. And he goes, talking to the subcommittee, he said, and committee, while you're at it, remember that federal agents are public servants, whether they think they are our masters or not. He said, see Texas Penal Code, section 39.03, official oppression. A public servant acting under color of his office or employment commits an offense if, 1, he intentionally subjects another to mistreatment or to arrest, detention, search, seizure, dispossession, assessment, or lien that he knows is what? Unlawful. Intentionally denies or impedes another in the exercise or enjoyment of any right, privilege, power, or immunity, knowing his conduct is unlawful. For purposes of this section, a public servant acts under color of his office or employment if he acts or purports to act in an official capacity or takes advantage of such actual or purported capacity. D, this offense under this section is a Class A misdemeanor.
So don't you think they should just go right away and arrest them?
I would think they should.
I mean, there's video proof right there, and then the nurse comes out and says they threatened her.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is not the only time we've seen examples of this.
No, it's not. And people, we really want to let you know right now, do not let the FBI into your house without a warrant, period. You have that right to shut the door in their face. But really, be nice and just tell them, you can't come into my house, talk to my attorney.
Exactly. Just like you say, if you know that what you've done is lawful, if there is absolutely no reason for them to be there on your front porch, wave them goodbye and tell them adios.
And the good thing that these people did is take a video. And we have phones everywhere. We have cameras everywhere. So make sure immediately you turn your camera on.
And they
will go away, and they cannot stop you, especially if you're in your house. They cannot stop you while they stand outside that door. I know for a podcast audience, on the video that we just looked at, it showed that one of the FBI agents had, when they asked to come in the house, he kind of stepped forward. He was going to force his way in there. So you need to
just watch the video.
Just watch the video. It's really, really eye-opening.
Moving along, let's talk about the second most important issue in our country, which is the border. In light of what all went down, Biden and them having the big celebration yesterday about the 12-year anniversary of the DACA, and him using that as a platform to announce his new amnesty program that's going to give amnesty to 500,000 illegal immigrants. It makes you wonder, how can Biden just grant amnesty? How can he just do this like this? President Obama had said that they lacked the legal authority to do that. So I had to go and fact check this. And Politico, of all people, that's the only thing I found. That's the only thing I found right off the bat. They tried to say that it was mostly false, that Obama didn't say that he lacked the legal authority to do that. But listen, this is what he said. In March of 2011, he told Univision, there are enough laws on the books by Congress that are very clear in terms of how we have to enforce our immigration system, that for me to simply, through executive order, ignore those congressional mandates would not conform with my appropriate role as a president.
So what makes you think that Biden is going to be able to do this? Listen to this video we have right here of Biden's Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas came out yesterday with this statement. Listen to him.
Alicia, what we do before we take action is we study the law and ensure that the actions that we take are indeed lawful. That we have done with respect to this action, like we have done with all our prior actions. It is no surprise that Stephen Miller intends to attack this in the courts. We stand by it, not only in terms of its legality, but in terms of its significant public benefit for America.
You see, right there, they come out there and gaslight you.
Immediately.
This is an executive order to make 500,000 people citizens of the United States.
Yeah, he goes on to say that we've studied the law. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
No, they don't. They just try to make laws without the
through
Congress.
Fiat, yeah,
through fiat. That's what they do. You know, they know that the American people don't want this, that this is going to be a big deal come voting time. But here's what President Trump thinks of Biden's illegal amnesty executive order.
Our country is under invasion. We should not be talking amnesty. We should be talking about stopping the invasion instead. This is an invasion of our country.
Exactly. That's what it is. Mayorkas can say we've studied the law, that we've done all this, but no, you hadn't.
But of course, the Republicans are accusing President Biden of trying to influence the 2024 election with his move to allow these undocumented spouses and children of U.S. citizens an easier path to seek permanent residency, with some using a dubious claim that it would create more Democratic voters before November. And this is from a Hill article, and they are left, just letting you know. So that's why I'm reading this and using this information, because this is what the left points out all the time, that the conservative Republicans or whatever are claiming this dubious claim that it would create more Democratic voters before November. Folks, yes, it will.
That's exactly their plan.
That is exactly their plan. They have every intentions of using every vote they can, because they know already that they can't get the votes, folks. They can't get the votes. All they can get is ballots. Have you heard about that? You know, you count the ballots, not the votes now, folks. That is going to be that's what's going to make this a contentious election. For one thing, the American people, 62% of us, do not want amnesty for illegals. They want them deported.
Exactly.
They want them gone.
At least that. At least 62%.
President Trump said from the beginning he will reverse the border order if elected, and that Biden was just using the migrants. And he's absolutely right.
And if we're going to point out just the fact that he's bringing them in to get votes, that is the biggest danger to our country, that is not the biggest danger to our country at all. And here we've got 3 examples and some data that show you what the biggest danger is in letting all of these people come and cross our border and enter in our country illegal.
Yeah, and the first one is there was an illegal who was deported 16 times. He kills a Colorado man. He's a Mexican national, previously deported from the United States 16 times, has been charged for causing a fatal vehicle crash in Colorado. Ignacio Cruz Mendoza, 47, faces charges including vehicular homicide, vehicular assault, reckless driving, and driving without a commercial driver's license. The charges stem from an incident that resulted in the death of Scott Miller, 64, from Bailey, Colorado. 16 times, folks. He's been deported.
Yep. So if Mayorkas was paying attention and studying the law, how did this guy be deported and come back into our country 16 times?
Yes, and then number 2.
Migrant was arrested in broad daylight rape of a 13-year-old in New York Park. This was just yesterday.
The girl was raped at knife point in park near New York Met Stadium. An illegal immigrant is in New York PD custody after a broad daylight sex attack in which police said a machete-wielding man approached 2 13-year-olds, one a boy and one a girl, tied them together by the wrist, and raped the girl at a popular park in Queens, according to sources.
Yeah, Christian Ingla Landy, a 25-year-old from Ecuador, entered the country illegally in 2021 near Eagle Pass, Texas, with his 3-year-old child, NYPD leaders revealed during a news briefing on Tuesday.
And then number 3, of course, we've been hearing all week, the Rachel Morin murder, the illegal immigrant charged in rape, killing of Maryland Mama 5.
He's been arrested for the brutal 2023 rape and murder of a mom of 5 named Rachel Morin on a Maryland hiking trail. Victor Martinez Hernandez, 23, was tracked down in Tulsa Friday after police matched his DNA to the gruesome crime scene, Harford County Sheriff Jeffrey Gaylor told reporters on Saturday. Yeah, this guy was sitting in a bar in Tulsa enjoying a beer.
After everything that he's done. You know, like nothing happened.
Exactly.
You know, it's sickening.
Exactly.
It's sickening what this migrant crime is doing.
Yep.
You know, they say that we have great border security and that, you know, Mayorkas told us, oh, we follow the laws and everything. But this article I'm reading here is data visualization. It's from heritage.org. Y'all need to really go check this out, man, because this gives you a lot of information. Border insecurity and lax law enforcement lead to preventable crime. The sharp increase in illegal immigration since January 2021 has led to an increase in crime across the country. In many cases, the criminal aliens were present not in spite of federal, state, or local policy, but because of intentional policy choices. There's a map also that we want to go over for just a second.
Yeah, and
before we close the show, because it's very, very important that we know every state has at least one crime in it.
Except for Oregon, Idaho, New Mexico, Mississippi, Kentucky, Vermont, Maine, and Delaware. This is how much illegal immigration has affected our country.
Yes, because we can sit here and tell you the ones that have not had a crime in it, but it would be a whole show to tell you the states that had crime in it.
But the one thing that we can be sure of is that if our border had been closed correctly, the one sure thing we can say is that none of those crimes would have been committed.
Is this thing working?
Rise up. Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. You know, we couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, Share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there.
Denise,
And we'll see you next time.
we're out.